Right, hello everyone. So this is my Fulham vs Hull match preview. The last night's game, which we comfortably would say comfortably, but we won 2-1. And it was good to get our first home of the season in what was a very tough game, really. So going into the start of the game, Hull set up very similar to us, but they went a bit more direct and a very direct approach. Really, they set up well on the counter attack, and they looked dangerous, really. And we obviously in the first half dominated loads of the ball without really creating too much. Just looking at the game, I thought it was going to be one of those nights where we create loads of chances, dominate the ball, and just not get the win. Obviously, Hull had probably the first clear-cut chance of the half with Dicko going through and taking a thunderous shot, which David Button done well to save. And obviously, again, we kept continuing to dominate the ball without creating anything clear-cut. We had a few chances. I mean, Sessegnon going close in the first half as well. And really, we didn't really test much of Alan McGregor. Much of the first half was quite basically one of those halves where we dominated much of the ball. I mean, Hull had a few chances really. I mean, Aina, their right back, was getting forward a few times, and they set up really as a back three with the ball, and they played as a back five without it, which was quite clever from them. So they basically sat with 10 beyond the ball. Basically left Dick up on his own for most of the game. So they sat quite deep for that, and they just kept looking to hit us in the counter attack really. And obviously, we kept dominating the possession without really doing anything. Obviously, the crowd started to get a bit restless. As obviously, in previous games we've done that and not taken any chances we've created. As I said before, I thought it was going to be one of those nights where that was going to happen. So obviously, Hull, obviously that Dicko shot, and that's probably really one of the only really clear-cut chances they had. I mean, they had a few half chances where they were obviously from the counter attack, where they had lots of Grosicki and Jared Bowen playing with Dicko as well. So they're basically running. Every time they picked up the ball, they'd go direct, really looking for Dicko as the outlet, probably hold it up or give it to either Grosicki or Jared Bowen, who looked to take it down the wing and pick up with much more pace to try and create stuff. Obviously, the likes of David and Myler in the midfield have said Larson were basically pulling the strings behind them to ensure the back four had enough protection as they could. And obviously, in the first half, the goal did come. Obviously, it come down from the left. Shea Ojo down the left, crossed it in. Cabano obviously dummied it, took the one centre half with him, then Ford he take the back post, not back post, on the penalty spot already. Thought it was a really lovely little finish. Just side footed it, finessed it into the roof of the net. So that was 1-0 then. And then looking at the half, I thought as a whole, it was one of them ones where we should have been really out of sight, and we had a couple of chances in the first half. Sessegnon had a chance, and then with a few half chances as well, which could have been put away. And obviously, the problem this season is we've not been clinical enough. So looking at it again into the second half, and obviously we had a huge chance where Ryan Sessegnon crossed the ball in from Aite and he's right at the back post. And how he didn't score, I do not know, but it was easier to score really than to miss. And somehow he put his header wide, and from where we were sitting, we thought we scored. I mean, that was just one. And after that chance had gone wide, I was sitting there thinking, it's going to come back and haunt us. Obviously, we turned that, probably wasted the biggest opportunity we had in the half, and then obviously it did come back to haunt us when Jared Bowen crosses in from Grosicki. Jared Bowen first header initially saved by Button, was a good reflex save, and obviously the rebound sits right up for Bowen, and that Button's on the floor, and all Jared Bowen's really got to do is just direct the header back in, and it goes in. So it's 1-1. Obviously, there straight away, obviously at 1-1, most of the crowd were expecting us to going back into our shells and then allow Hull on. And obviously, straight from kick-off, we lose the ball after conceding the goal, and then straight away they go through again. All that I know of a sort of scruffy shot that was cleared by Fredericks, and that straight away from kick-off within the space of a minute could have been from 1-0 up to 2-1 down. And we were quite fortunate really to allow that not to happen, because after the Hull got that goal, they seemed to come into the game with a little spell where they were creating 3 or 4 chances, and we really had our backs against the wall, and then they really came at us and used a lot of their direct pace and power to really test us and see what we were made of. And for the next 10 or so minutes, it was quite tough really, because the crowd really it gets quite hostile, especially when we don't put away the chances and that. It gets quite hostile when we're not playing well, and obviously the Fulham team probably feel like the home crowd on their backs a lot of the time. And obviously, again, we came close with a few half chances again, and obviously the second goal came from a cross from across from Cabano. Aite then goes for an overhead kick, or acrobatic kick, completely air shots it in. And Hansen with a very clever little finish really. I mean, the ball's kind of behind him, and he kind of hooks it acrobatically in, and it goes in off the crossbar. So that's 62nd minute, that's 2-1, and then we're thinking, okay, if we can go and get third, we can go and win this game. But again, at 2-1, we're hanging on. I mean, with a few chances again, obviously, Johansson with a lovely bit of skill in the second half, a lovely little turn to take out 3 of Hull's players, and that nearly led to a goal as well. which would if that had actually happened as well, that little bit of play led to a goal. That would probably been one up there in my opinion for a team goal of the season. And again, in the second half with another chance, Tim Ream going through, but his heavy touch really let him down. I think if he controlled his touch better from the pass, obviously it would have given him a better chance on goal. Obviously, Alan McGregor was again called into action in the second half with a lovely one-handed reflex save. I can't remember who shot. I think it was Johansson, or Mollo. It was a good shot and a really top save actually from McGregor, who didn't have loads to do, but obviously when he he did let in a couple of goals. So obviously Mollo came on in the second half as well, and he looked okay again. I mean, from what I've seen of him, he's positive again in the first half against Cardiff as well. He's got a player who's direct. He doesn't look too bad. He's got a few tricks up his sleeve, and he definitely added to what I thought was a okayish performance. I mean, I'd like to have seen Kamara come on earlier on in the second half to really go up against the pace of Michael Dawson. Really, who to me was really. I don't think he really had much of a game. I mean, Aite did look sharp, but I thought if we could have brought Kamara on and really tested and really put him against Dawson, because Aite and Kamara, I mean, he does give the centre backs a good bruising and he can get in behind and he's got some tremendous pace, albeit he's not the greatest technical player, but to me he's a good player to come off the bench. But for me, I think the thing that worries me going forward this year is against these type of teams, every team knows how we play. They come to us, they sit back on the counter-attack and they hit us with their pace, and to me there's no plan B in the side, which is a bit worrying. Especially when our normal style of play of keeping possession at home and dominating the ball goes wrong. There's nothing really I look at on the bench and think they can bring something a bit different that we can always try. There's no plan B. And it really was for the reason why we came unstuck last year. I mean, this time last year, we went for a wobble against teams like Burton at home as well. And the September period was probably this period that really hurt us in our promotion push last year. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. Also, we go to Burton Saturday. But looking at the way we play in that, there isn't really a plan B there. I mean, I'm not saying for us to suddenly turn to a long ball team if things don't go right. Obviously, I'm not trying to say that, but there should be something there. So Jokanovic should probably bring in that could really change the way we play. I'm not saying go direct, but there's also, I could say we could go direct, but we could also play a bit of counter attack. I mean, we've got players on the bench with pace who can play up front and can hurt teams, and maybe even try two up front as well, which we don't seem to do enough of if things don't go right. So obviously, Hull towards the end had a few more chances, and that they went all out. Literally, they brought on Diamande as well, John Torrell as well, and they kept lumping it up to them, trying to get anything they could really from the game. Obviously, at 2-1, they probably feel unlucky to go another goal down. When they're back in, obviously been given the chance to come back into the game for a well-taken goal from Jared Bowen. To be fair to him, he's another young lad who's probably going to do things this season. I think that was his 5th goal already this season. I think that means he's probably top goal scorer of the division at the moment. I'm not too sure, but he's another young lad for them. He's probably their brightest spark going towards the future, and he looks a good little player to be fair to him. But obviously, towards the end of the game, we were hanging on a bit, and also Mollo goes through and hits a crossbar towards the end of the game. I think it took a deflection on the way through, and it bounced off the top of the crossbar, and that could have been one of a few chances towards the end of the game where it was one of them scenarios where Hull committing men forward and we're just catching them on the counter attack. So obviously, on the whole, first win in the season, which was really good against a tough team, really. I mean, they were coming for points to prove after getting walloped by Derby on previous Friday. I mean, they also had an extra day's rest than us, which doesn't really mean nothing to me. But it was a result that we needed as well. The first home win, it was one of those results that, I mean, if a winless home run had continued from this season on to October time, it started to be a bit worrying. But we got a good result, and obviously 10 points down, and looking forward to Burton on Saturday, which could be another brilliant chance to get another 3 points. But then again, they're another tough team at home to beat. And they've had a good home record this year. Now they've beaten the likes of Birmingham at home. I think Sheffield Wednesday, I think they've got a decent result against Sheffield Wednesday at home. I can't really remember to be fair. But also they were narrowly defeated by Cardiff on the opening day as well. So that'd be another tough challenge to go up there and get a positive result. But I'm hopeful now, looking at the way we've played Tuesday night. It wasn't a Wednesday night. I mean, it wasn't a solid performance, but we got the job done. And hopefully now we can use that to kick on and really kickstart our home form this season as well as our away form. So that's been my match review, so hopefully you all like it, and then, yeah, I'll see you on the next one.